Yeah, I'm still waiting on you. Yeah, I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting for everybody to trickle on in. Hey, Miss Faithful to the end. We gonna wrap them. D, what's happening? Hey, Miss Nick. Good afternoon. It's noon time. It's noon time. I'm waiting for everybody to trickle on in because we gonna wrap. Because I said I was gonna cover this topic for a couple of people. And so, me being the man of my word, I'm gonna holler at you and I'm gonna just, talk to you. So I'm gonna let a couple more people trickle in. And then we just gonna wrap this afternoon. Topic of discussion. What you worrying about? Why you worrying all the time? What you worried about? Man, all this worrying going on. Everybody nervous? Hey, babies. Everybody worrying all the time and just having negative thoughts dominate their head. Now, if I could, let me tell you how what this whole thing came from. I placed on my platinum page where I have all the girls and the guys at, and I asked this question. This was the question. If you have a bad habit of worrying all the time or speaking negatively about yourself, say I'm guilty, coach. And a lot of people say that they have negative thoughts that always run through their minds. They always speak negatively about themselves whenever stuff pop up. Now, let's cover the first part. Let's cover the first part, which is the title of today's or this afternoon show. Why are you worrying all the time? What's really going on? And when I think about this, I always look at myself. How do I handle stuff? And so I'm going to share with you how I handle stuff. And maybe you can incorporate how you incorporate this into how you handle stuff. Now, let's look at the root of the whole thing. And the root of the whole thing is this. The reason why people get nervous and get scared and get afraid is they don't know the answer. And I always tell people that's close to me, find your answer. Regardless if it's in your favor or not in your favor, find your answers, because that's why people become fearful. Because first it starts on this little hope deal of, I hope this don't happen to me. Please don't let this happen to me today. Everybody go through hope. So you walk on eggshells hoping nothing bad happens to you because you don't have an answer to what would happen if stuff popped off. You don't have any alternatives. You don't have any options. Okay? That's the first thing you need to look at. Okay? What happens if this happens? Okay, this is my answer. I'm going to do A. See, a lot of people don't have a I'm going to do A mentality. They just walk around again hoping. You have to find your answers so you can be prepared. Okay, also, let's go back even further. Instead of you worrying, why don't you change your perspective a little bit? Instead of worrying about what will happen if this happens, why don't you just have the approach of, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. Think about that for a second. And I want you to think about this for a second. You spend all this time worrying and all that other good stuff. Think about it this way. What were you worried about 10, 15 years ago? On this very day, what were you worried about 10, 15 years ago? You probably don't know. But I guarantee you were worried about something. But 10, 15 years later, you can't tell me what it is. You can't tell me. But I bet you were worried about something, which goes back to, and this is where you have to fall back on your faith a little bit. You see what I'm saying? This is where you have to fall back on your faith a little bit and say, okay, I don't know what I was worried about 10, 15 years ago, even though I'm sure I was worried about something. But if I'm here talking to you today, I'm pretty sure 10 times out of 10, it didn't kill me. So if it didn't kill me then and I can't remember, even though I know I probably was worried about something, why should I worry about that 10, 15 years later, bringing me back to the current situation right now? Why? Sometimes you have to use your past stuff as a reference point. Me personally, I always think about the worst times of my life, and I always say, well, shoot, if I can get through this, this is easy. Sometimes you have to make your current stuff minuscule compared to your past stuff that was 10 times greater. And say within yourself, if I defeated this along with the help from my God, surely I can get past something that's even smaller than what I thought was horrific and life-threatening back then. That's why it's a good thing that you have bad stuff to use as reference points, because again, it reminds you that if I made it through this, I can make it through that. Now, also, let me step on some toes too. When I talk about perspective, there's two ways I want to angle this if I could. Now, if you're spending time worrying and you're a Christian, shame on you. Now, it's amazing to me we can have all this faith on Sunday, but then catch amnesia Monday through Saturday. We sing songs about hope and we quote scriptures about, I look to the hills from which my help comes from. We say that on Sundays, but my God, we forget about that and catch amnesia and have dementia Monday through Saturdays. But you have faith. You can't just have faith. You just can't have faith on Sundays. You got to exercise your stuff. Just like you exercise your muscles, you got to exercise your faith too. Look at that. Now, let me also share this too. And it goes back to this perspective deal. Because my perspective is a little bit different than most. Okay. Now, when bad stuff happens to me, okay, for a lot of people, it goes back to, why this had to happen to me? Why am I being punished? Why? Change that. Be thankful for your problems. Because again, at some point you ask for a blessing. Okay, this is where that perspective kicks in. At some point, you ask for a blessing. You ask for a new car. You ask for a new house. You ask for a career change. You may have asked for a mate. You may have asked for a baby. Okay, but for every want comes a requirement. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is the stuff you might be going through might not be something that you're being punished for, but it might be several tests that you have to fulfill to get that requirement. God just ain't gonna give you stuff just because you're cute. Nah, you're gonna have to go through some changes and you have to prove that you're worthy of it. So change your perspective. Instead of being, why me? Be thankful. Because again, be thankful. Hold on one second. Be thankful. I hate when people call. Be thankful for your stuff. Because again, it's a test. Again, you're not being punished. It's a test. Now it's on you to pass your test. It goes back to perspective. And again, if you meet this thing head on, the stuff that you worry about, if you meet this stuff head on, the faster you get through it. But if I'm always hoping, always wishing, and I'm not looking at it as a test or a competition to get my stuff, because keep in mind, the same stuff that you praying for and wanting, somebody else across the street, down the road, in another city, in another state, in another country is wanting the same thing. So if I'm God, why am I going to give it to you when every time I present something to you, you become woe is me? Woe is me. The terror and the horror. Change how you look at your stuff. Stop worrying about stuff. If it's your test, answer the challenge, answer the call, get the stuff that's on the other side of it, get your blessing. But again, it goes back to your perspective. How do you look at stuff? Do I worry all the time? Or do I say thank you? And do I look at it as a test versus I'm being punished for something that I did 10, 15 years ago? You have to change your perspective. Stop worrying and know that you're equipped to go through what you're meant to go through. But just find your answers. Answer the challenge and stop being a coward. Fight. You got two hands. Fight. You're knowledgeable. Fight. Lastly, there are no such things as new problems. For every problem, somebody has gone through it. This is why you don't worry. Because somebody, I'm sure, has gone through the same stuff that you're struggling with. Find somebody who has conquered what you're struggling with and find out how they did it. How about that? Versus you. And let me also say this too. A lot of y'all have crazy imaginations. So in your mind, it plays out worse than what it actually really is. Find somebody who has conquered what you're struggling with, what you're worried about. Find it. Talk to them. And then that will create a shortcut for you so you can get through your stuff. So please change your perspective. I hope you got something out of this because it was on my heart to tell you. Again, there are no new problems. All you have to do is find your answer. Love each and every one of you. Have an awesome afternoon. I'll be popping back in. But stop worrying and know that you and God can do it together. He gonna give you the answers, but it's on you to execute the plan and find your answer. And also change your perspective and answer whatever challenges you're struggling with. Handle it like a champion, not a champion. So let's get it. Be good. Love y'all. Be blessed.